Hello YouTube, this is the Darkly Player here again, and I'm going to do a building on the spot for you guys. As I was driving home, I had not a weird idea, but I had an idea for a deck to do, and I'm going to go ahead and build it. Hopefully this will turn out better than the Allied deck the other day. I did test that Allied deck a couple times. I know I should have showed you guys, but I just want to do a pre-test and figure some things out about it. And it does need some heavy modding because the deck I went against was not an attacking deck, so most of my removal was gone. And by the time they got up to their combo, which they were just, generating a bunch of elf tokens, it was just a lot. So yeah, we're going to start a new deck for building on the spot. This won't be a everyday channel thing. It may or may not be. I don't know. I just like the idea of building on the spot, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, let's go to create a new deck, and it is going to be a green deck, so I'm going to call it Green Beater. As you can tell, it's probably going to be a Green Beater deck. But I want to try to add some mana ramp into it rather than just quick casting stuff. I want to do some good old-fashioned ramp up rather than just, 1 and 2 drop of 3/3s. So we'll go ahead and do Modern over here and Forest. Yeah, Raging Baloth is awesome, but it won't be for this deck. So some of the cards I do want in here, I want my basics. I want my Lanos. I want my Jiraga. And I want my Druid. And this will be the mana ramp for the deck. It's only going to run a little over 20 creatures, which ain't great for a deck like this, but this will be alright. It's turn 1 drops, turn 2 pumps, turn 2 druids. It's going to be a fun little deck. I can do a turn 2 druid in this deck with just the Lano War combo, as you saw in my elf deck. Then I just want to look up what else I got. I'm going to sort by... Modern, green. So I guess he counts as green. Let's just scroll through here and see what I have. I don't remember what kind of heavy beaters I used to have in here. If any. So we may have to go with some untraditional beaters. Like I may also toss in Artifact. Because, they can be spliced into everything, and, stuff like Beast of Burden is just fun. So, yeah, let's scroll down a little bit. I will go over here and type creature so that we don't run into anything else. Yeah, stuff like this is awesome, a 2/2 for 2, that's flash. But I'm not looking for that kind of ramp. I'm looking for old-fashioned traditional ramp beaters. Ain't too bad, but it's 5 for 3/3. And the reason why I'm doing this is I got in on modern terms. I think one of the first decks I remember buying was the old Mirrodin, not the new Mirrodin, the old Mirrodin, with the cat Leonins and stuff. That was one of my first decks I ever had, was the cat deck. And I remember always going against this one guy who had a ramp deck similar to something like this, and it was always annoying to try to get over really quick, especially if he goes like turn 1. Mana ramp, turn 2, mana ramp, turn 3, big beater. So let's see what's this guy? Cost 7 for an 8/8, so ain't bad. Whenever he dies, you have to exile it, then return 2 target creatures at random from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'll toss him in there in the maybe pile for now. He'll be in the deck, but he's a maybe because I like his ability and I like that he's a 7/7 or cost a 7 for an 8/8. But his ability is a little because he gets removed. That's the only downside to it. But because you get a +1 off of his ability, so it ain't bad. Actually, you might get a +2 if you can kill if your opponent like chump blocks it for death touch, and then you get their card and you get one more. I don't know if that's a 2 or not, but it might be. Oh, here's a fun card. That wouldn't be really good for this deck because this isn't a draw deck. Otherwise, that would have been really nice. This card is in here because I ran it with an old deal. Sage. Sage is an auto add because I love his draw abilities. And especially in this deck, he could probably pop off really, really big. That's just basic damage. I don't want that. I could go Old Worms, but that's because I really like the Old Worms. One of my first decks I tried to build on my own was something similar to this, an elf ramp into some of the classic worms, and it was pretty mean. People didn't like that deck too much. So yeah, like it looks like I don't have a ton of beaters, but I'm already up to my 20 creatures. That might go in there, but I think I would want something that aids the deck a little bit. That's not too bad. Changeling for 2/2 for 2. Because of, that could help the Archdruid out. But if I was going tech, so I want at least 22 creatures in here. These two will be fine for now. So I got to keep an eye on the time because I got something in the oven. And no, it's not a cake. It's just a cheap banquet meal. And by cheap, I mean the bake at homes because the frozen dinners suck. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but I don't like the frozen banquet dinners. So yeah, I will probably tack in 2 Woodling Changelings just for a change of pace. Tech-wise, they're not that great. I think I've got some better stuff, as you can see. Like I got this guy could turn out on turn 1, and he's got lifelink. Stuff like this would be okay. Oh wait, no, that's the old Spore. That was for an old Spore deck. That would not be okay in this deck, but for a different one. This one would absolutely be okay because I love that you can add 1 for its power, and if you've got a couple of these out, Archdruids, that pump it up, you can add 3 mana to your mana pool for each one of these you got on the field. So it's not too bad. Then there's stuff like this. Whenever he dies, you get a Sapperling, which ain't bad for a 1/1 that costs 1. But I'm not going for a speedy. I'm not going for the newer turn 1 drop, turn 2 drop, turn 3 drop, and they're just nothing but beaters. I'm going for the mana ramp into something huge. And the Changeling I just want to play with because I really like Changelings. Not been able to make a complete deck about them yet, but I will try. So that's so far the creatures for this deck. We're running 4 Jiraga, 4 Lano, 4 Archdruid, 2 Woodland Changelings, 4 Primordial Sages, and 4 of the Moldgraph Monstrosities. He's probably the only technical beater in here because this is more of a tech card, but he's also kind of a beater. But we will make sure that we get something that pluses our stuff up. I can't think of any good things right now. So we'll go to type right quick. Then we'll go instant, sorcery, artifact, and enchantments. And we'll see what we can find in here. I do not want creatures, but they'll pop in here because of the artifacts. And maybe if I have an enchantment thing. If I had a Rancor, I don't know if I have a Rancor or not. Rancor would be kind of cool for this deck. Now we're going to the basic stuff, and I've not built a deck like this in a while. So it's going to be not going to be challenging. It's going to be a little annoying because I do not know what I want to put in here. Like I've already want to put in Harmonize because it's one of the better draw cards. That's because I like draw. I might do that. I might add 4 Harmonize, 4 Harrow. Harrow for Thin because it can also Harrow can combo because turn 2 Harrow and do 2 more lands, so you got 3 lands on turn 2, and you can tap those again for something else. If you do turn 1 Lano, turn 2 Harrow, it's actually pretty good. And I like it because they come into play untapped. Okay, on top of that, there's stuff like Monstrous Growth and stuff, but that's a sorcery. That's too slow. I'm more looking for enchantments to help boost and thinners, that's not too bad, but it's a 3/3. It's +3/+3 for 3. So, not great. That's just mean. That would so combo with the Archdruid, but that's the only thing that would combo with. Because you can't combo it with the Sage or anything like that. This is always fun. Primal Bellow is probably going to come in here. Sorry about that. I really don't know what I'm going to do. And this is the issue. Sometimes I get an idea, but I don't know exactly what I have on MTGO to do this. And I like MTGO as a nice tool because it will give me ideas for decks I want to play. Okay, I might just tech in a couple Wild Pairs because I do like that card, but it's a tad slow. But, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, you may search your library for a creature card with the same total power and toughness and put it onto the battlefield. If you do, shuffle your library. That's great because it's total. So, pretty much every one of my creatures could grab another one of itself. But every Lano could grab a Jiraga, every Jiraga can grab a Lano, every Changeling can grab a Druid, and every Druid can grab a Druid or a Changeling. Or, it says total, so if I had something with 16, I could pull something out with 16, but I don't have one. Or 9, but again, that would definitely combo well with some of the smaller stuff I got in here. And there was, what's that? Put target land on top of, nah, I don't want that. Utopia. Nah. Now, this is the issue. I really do need some tech in here. I do want some damage or something. I'm not going to get that from just basic green. Now, this ain't too bad of a card. Landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put the quest counter on it, remove 3 of them, sacrifice it for up to 2 basic land cards. I may tech in 3 of those because this ain't a landfall deck, but the mana ramp would be really nice because it'll allow me to combo really fast and other stuff like that. And because of the way this deck is running, so far I got 13 other. I'm looking for about 20. I am probably going to find my collective unconscious right quick. Just because I want a free draw. That will go in. But I'm really not getting anything great. They have 3 collectives, so I'm down to 19. Yeah, I'll probably keep it at 19. But with this setup, I'm not really too happy. I like the landfall. I like the pair. I like the draw. So basically, this is going to focus way more on the creatures than anything. See what I can find for pluses. A lot. Well, I could go an enchantment version of this deck, which ain't too bad. But I really don't want to go that route. Groundswell ain't too bad. 1 for 4/4. I mean, that would be something I would like to be in here. So I may just go classic. No, I want to go classic ramp. So The only thing I don't think would be a decent... I like the probes, but they're not needed. This is strange for me. So yeah, we'll try this out. Actually, I may put the probes back in because I like the extra draw, but I got harmonized and collective. We'll see how that runs, and then we'll put in something. That's similar to what I want, but it ain't that powerful. And I only got one. So yeah, Hall of Triumph would probably be something I put in here if I was running a weenie version of this deck or something. But I'm not. And I got mana ramp, and I got enough search. I got enough draw. Now I need some sort of control. Let's look up destroy right quick. Okay, let's see what we got. Regenerate target creature at this turn. Next. Ain't too bad, but it's not what I want. No. Yeah, most of the destroy abilities are mainly just for artifact and enchantments. Ratchet Bomb. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put a couple Ratchet Bombs in here. And a couple probes. That way I got some sort of form of removal. Especially if I'm running against a token gen deck. I could just pop this into play, sacrifice to get rid of all the tokens. I'm not running any tokens at all, so that won't go back on me for the Ratchet. And the probes are good because, one, they let me spy my opponent's hand and I get to draw a card. Basically, free card if I pay the 2 life. So that's not too bad. This deck looks like it's going to be 62 cards. Let's look up what forest I have to put in here. And as you know, I love my forest. Let's get rid of that. See what force I got in here. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did type. Hold on. I'll just go ahead and click land. Alright, here's my forest. Now, let's see which one I would like to put in here. I like that old one, but I only have 10. I am going to put about 20 lands in here so I can make sure that I got enough lands in the beginning hand to pull off anything. Seems like that's the only one I really have 20 of. It is. What's that? That's funny. But yeah, it looks like the only forest I have 20 of, or at least 20, is this one. So basic land forest, or that one. I want to use these. These look a little cooler. Actually, those may be foil. Yeah, those came from the sliver deck. Those may be foil lands. I bought them for this deck. So this is the deck so far. I will probably run it a little bit later in the day after I try to finish my mono red stuff, or mono red black videos. But so far it's going to be running, for the creatures, it's going to be running 4 Draga, 4 Llanowar, 2 Woodland Changelings, 4 Elvish Archdruids, 4 Primordial Sage, and 4 Moldgraph Monstrosity. For the other cards, it's going to run 2 Gitaxian Probes, 2 Colony Heart Expedition, or 3 Colony, sorry, 4 Harrow, 4 Collective, or 4 Harmonized, 4 Collective Unconscious, 2 Wild Pair, and 2 Ratchet Bomb, along with 20 Forest. This looks like a okay build, but we'll have to run it a couple times to see what it does, how it plays, and what combos I can pull out. But it looks like I can do some pretty heavy damage really fast with this deck. especially if I'm running against a token gen and I grab a ratchet bomb, or I thin my deck out a lot, because the colonies and the heralds will help thin my deck out of lands, so that when I do harmonize and collective, I have a less chance of running into a land unless I need one. That'd be bad, but if I'm casting harmonize and collective unconscious, they cost 4 and 6. I won't need much mana, because as you can tell, the highest casting cost card in this deck is this guy for 7. And if you've seen my other elf deck, which this is somewhat loosely based off of, because it is running the 3 main cards of its ramp, it gets a lot of mana really fast. And if this runs similar to it, it'll be nice. But it's going to be a little slower than my other elf deck, because I am only running the 3 compared to a whole deck. And then I still got all the big creatures and the just changeling in here. So we'll see what this deck runs like in a little bit. But yeah, this will be called my green beater deck. This was another video by the Dark League player of building on the spot. So everybody, please have a great day, and